So Courtney Hansen is staying with us, which is a good theme.
Well, she just got back from all the auto shows, so now she can tell us about this car because we have no idea.
Evoque.
Finally get to see it.
I've been driving this thing a little bit. You've been driving this thing a little bit.
This is the Range Rover Evoque.
Yeah.
For people that are watching this video.
Can I be honest?
I'm going to be honest too.
Okay. Should I go first or you?
Let's just say it at the same time.
Okay.
I think you're hot. Go ahead. You don't want to.
I have a Range Rover, right?
Huh?
But
what?
This,
We're talking about the car?
I'm just not really. I'm not a fan of this. I'm sorry, but it's not my favorite Range Rover.
I was cool with it. I mean, this one has a 2-liter turbocharged straight 4, right?
Yeah. It's I think it's basically the Ford EcoBoost engines, 240
and
horsepower.
I was completely cool with this thing until last night. Matt and I were cuddling because we prep for shows.
Yeah.
And the way, yes, you prep the way you prep. We'll prep the way we prep. And
it's a process.
I said, "What's this thing cost?" And he's like, "It's probably knocking on the door of 60 when it's all loaded up and out the door." And I said, "What?" I was prepared to like this car for 29 base. I mean, like a 29 base. It's got a 4-cylinder. It's got a 2-liter 4-cylinder. I was going to like it for a 29 base, and you could bump it up to like 41 if you got the heated steering wheel and stuff.
Well,
but knocking on the door of 60.
Not worth it.
We had the Audi Q5, and that was the 2-liter turbo as well.
We're going to throw to that in a second.
And that's the competition. The problem is like when we looked at that car, that was about 43,000 as it sat. This is like 59 and change. But they're trying to upscale it. The Range Rover brand for Land Rover, they're definitely trying to upscale. Like you look at the interior in this, the stitching, the piping, all on the carpets. It has that flavor to it.
I've got to tell you, there is. I don't care if they take a 2-liter motor, put a turbocharger on it, and milk 210 horsepower out of it, or 220, I would still rather have a V6 that was a 3.5 with some low-end grunt to it. And I got to tell you, especially after I got spoiled driving the Lexus ISF with the V8 and everything in it.
Yeah.
It just felt like this thing feels a little tinny. Like it spools up, that sort of rock back, and
it
that
does
high
have a little bit of
machine.
turbo lag. There is sort of a weak spot in the acceleration. There is some turbo lag. So if you go slow, it creeps. But the way I find it is just like wait for the guy in front of you to go for a few seconds, and then just hit the gas, and this thing will shoot like a rocket, and it's fun.
I mean, look, everything's nice, and it looks cool, and it's edgy, and all that kind of stuff. Well, here's what I think. I think if you are going to buy this car for 10 or 15 grand more than an Audi, you have to think it looks cool, because that's all you're getting. You're not getting any more displacement. You're not getting any more bells and whistles. You just has to look cool. This is a car for a chick dad has money, who just falls in love with it. He's won 27 national championships.
You got to really like it. I showed this to some other people that I know that had Range Rovers, and they said, you know what, the one thing they don't like about the big Range Rover is the 12 miles per gallon that they get. And this gets something like 25 or 28 on the freeway.
That's true, but they changed the body style. It's completely different.
For me,
it's the smaller unibody version of it.
I think it looks kind of, I get what they were going for. They're going for like aggressive and futuristic and a little bit funky, and I feel like they hit it. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. The looks, I don't have a problem with. The interior in British cars, especially in the Range Rover, used to be far and above the Japanese stuff, Infiniti, Lexus, anything like that, and even above the German stuff. Now, this interior, while it's nice, does not feel like it's a huge quantum leap above the Audi or even my Lexus. The Lexus feels real good in the fit and finish department, and the Audi feels real good, and this feels a little plasticky and a little tinny, and whatever that chasm was between the British interiors and the Japanese interiors has been closed at this point for me.
The leather looks nice.
It is a nice
60
interior.
grand.
Yeah,
it should be nice.
Now,
sorry for yelling.
This has a lot more of the options compared to the Audi. So the Audi, I'm sure you can get pretty close in price to this thing. I mean, this thing's got, screens in the back headrest, and has this whole remote control wireless that comes out and kind of neat stuff.
But this car is
Yeah.
you're looking for bang for your buck,
Yeah.
this is not your car.
Well,
But if you want,
this is what we were talking about last night in bed. Was for $60,000. I mean, I don't mind the SUV; it is fun to drive. But for $60,000, I'm going to be in
You want
a
a whole
brand
lot
new.
more.
I'm in a brand new GT500, or I'm in a Audi TT RS.
Right.
That car was sweet. For $60,000, I want to go 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds
But
and have that thing handle like
and
a race
I love
car.
that Audi TT2 and the Ford. But you have to give me another $60,000 SUV, because obviously it's not the same couple that's going to buy the TT versus this. To me, the Audi, you could probably get a Q7 base price for something close to 60.
We'll see. We'll get one of those. We'll
I'll
ask
get
somebody.
one of those. I'm
Dear
just,
Audi.
I'm
Please
just
send
saying.
Q7.
I'd rather drive that.
I don't mind the looks. The fit and the finish is great. Look, everything's great. It's a great car. But if you're buying this car, it's because you love the look and not the
That's the
value.
thing. You got to love it. And like I said, some of the people that I showed it to loved it. They drove it. They got in it. And they're like, you know what? I love this. I'm definitely
enjoy
trading
driving
in.
it?
Yeah, they're like, I'm getting rid of my G-Wagon. I'm getting rid of my full-size Range Rover. But you have several cars and a Range Rover that you drive. Are you more of an SUV or a car person?
You know, it's kind of hard to pile several people into a DB9, but I prefer to drive I like driving the convertibles and the sports cars.
Yeah.
But
I take the DB9 and tell some of my friends to meet me there. That's
exactly.
just the way it is.
That's
Just like-
kind of
You
how I
can tell
think.
by her racing shoes that she's.
I take these off. Are you kidding me? I don't drive in heels.
Yeah. Okay.
Rule number
good.
1:
Yeah.
Do not drive in heels, especially not stilettos.
That is dangerous.
Dangerous
All right.
and
Normally we
running shoes.
fire these things up.
You can.
I'm
yeah.
not standing behind this
I'll
car.
drive it.
It doesn't sound like anything. It sounds like a 4-cylinder with
It's
a
got a
mild
turbo.
turbo.
Courtney, get in the
It
car
doesn't.
and start it up.
There you go.
There we go. See, the little shifter comes out of the dash like the Jag. It's kind of like the Jaguar SUVs.
It looks
nice in
cool.
here. I
It's
like
just
the
not that
interior.
much.
You rev the gas, the boss is going to stand in the back and feel how powerful this thing is. Go ahead.
Oh man, my ears bleeding.
You know what? I don't see any difference between this and the Ring Brother cars that were here.
It just sounds like a bone stock Tercel. They didn't
I
even make
like
a
the
Tercel
interior.
anymore.
See, the interior is kind of nice, right?
The interior is kind of nice. I'm telling you that Audi and Infiniti and Lexus and certainly BMW have bridged the gap. They've
Okay.
gotten much closer.
I gotta take it for a spin.
Go ahead.
I can.
Do they have the Range Rover wireless remote?
Wow. What's that do?
It controls the radio and the screens in the back, so the kids can watch the Adam and Eve free CDs.
Wow. And that would be done from the passenger seat. So you're
Yeah.
driving, your wife
And
is...
it comes with wireless
Wow.
headphones.
Wow. I don't think you have kids if you have this car.
I just assumed you get in and be like, oh, I need the big Range Rover.
Yeah. All right.
Either
Look,
way, Courtney's leaving with this thing,
Yeah,
apparently.
I'm gonna leave with it for a bit. The nav and audio system is pretty cool.
Yeah. Look, it's not a bad car. It just, for the money, doesn't feel like a lot of car to me. And which a lot of cars fall under the heading of. It was like, ironically, the movie Drive. Not a bad movie, just for a movie that's supposed to be good, it's a bad movie. All right. So,
We're going to let Courtney drive this. These guys are going to take some pictures. Courtney, you got a website you want to throw out?
CourtneyHansen.com.
CourtneyHansen.com. And Vincetta
HANS.
Garage is on Velocity Tuesday nights?
Tuesday nights, 8:30.
I did the research.
And the Spike shows air every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Pacific.
So, until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Matt D'Andrea and Courtney Hansen saying, keep the air in the spare and the bag in the wheel.
We'll try.